Our special guest today, I mean, we are just thrilled and honored to have Kiesha Crowther with us, a.k.a. Little Grandmother, a world-renowned spiritual teacher, a shaman, a wisdom keeper, and the gatherer of the Tribe of Many Colors. Author of the book, Message for the Tribe of Many Colors. Get a load of this, and I didn't realize this, published in 13 different languages around the world.
That is awesome.
That is amazing. Little Grandmother's mission is to help reignite a deep remembrance in humanity of their own great potential and their personal relationships to Mother Earth. Now, she's met with and learned from several different indigenous chiefs and elders, leaders, grandmothers, and grandfathers from all over the globe in order to share their messages to the people in hopes to restore and generate their remembrance of the sacred. One of the good things I like about Kiesha, her talks are freely available on the web and on YouTube, and millions of people have hit these things all over the world. And you can follow her and her many travels, ceremonies, and events on her Facebook page, Little Grandmother Kiesha, as well as on her website, littlegrandmother.net. And, of course, you can also get her books at earthmotherpublishing.com. And if you'd like to contact her, her email address is beautyawakens@gmail.com. Kiesha, Little Grandmother, thank you and welcome for being on the show. We're so happy to have you.
We are so honored.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be with you all today.
We were talking about the fact that part of Little Grandmother's heart is in Colorado.
It's true. It's true. And I think it will always be. It's where I was raised, grew up, and fell in love with Mother Earth and nature itself. So my heart, I believe, will always be in Colorado.
We're going to have to drive up in the mountains and
say hi.
Yes,
for her.
Yes, for her. Please do. Please do. No matter where I go in the world, no matter how many beautiful things I see, I don't think there's anything like being in the mountains.
Oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I never want to leave Colorado, but I know we're going to travel and do some things. But man, it's beautiful here.
Well, that was always one of my dreams too, because I mean, you and I grew up in the Midwest predominantly, in the Illinois, Missouri area, and that was always one of my dreams, is to get out to Colorado. I always wanted to get out there and just like, I'll never make it, you know, I've got nothing. How am I? And then all of a sudden, bam, here we are. So yeah, it is beautiful. And tell us about that, Kiesha. I mean, you kind of got it from an early age. You were never quite what society would deem normal, were you?
Well, I guess in my brain, no. It's a different way of growing up. As a kid, I thought everybody saw energy. I thought everybody could see totem animals in other people. And yeah, it was a strange thing for me about third grade to figure out that I was different. And then that the oddness of going to church, raised a Mormon, of course, in my little tiny town. So you go to church on Sunday and you listen to how things are, how things should be, and who's giving you the information and how to follow the rules versus being in nature and what Mother Earth would teach were two completely different things. And so I was definitely at odds with myself, I think, growing up. But the one thing that stayed true was this renowned sense of anchoring myself to Mother Earth and understanding that any answer to any question can be found in nature. And if we learn how to still ourselves and quiet ourselves and stop talking, we can actually learn the answers to any question that we have from the wilderness, from nature that is surrounding us at all times.
And we thought that was really, really important because, as we said, we were up on the mountain and we were kind of heartbroken because we knew we were going to have to leave. We had to unplug and just completely walk away from all electronics and phones and computers and 52 days in the wilderness.
How wonderful.
It was amazing to reconnect, but at the same time, it was pretty harsh.
Well, it made you rethink everything. I mean, everything that you thought you knew. I mean, you
was
really
important.
Had to, yes. Exactly. Yeah, and you really had to rethink things.
Absolutely. The funniest thing to me is no matter where I travel or who I teach, it's kind of an overall understanding that our ancient ancestors all knew how to speak to nature, or that nature spoke to them. And today's society, we're kind of scratching our heads saying, well, why isn't nature speaking to us? Well, the answer to that is, it is something to laugh about, I think, because we're never quiet enough to listen. Mother Earth didn't decide that for our ancient ancestors, yes, I will speak to them, but these new people, no, I think I'll stay silent. Mother Earth never did that. We just simply forgot how to listen.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say, if it's orchestrated or not, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, we're not taught anymore. I think in my family we were a little bit, because we were always very loving of wildlife and that sort of thing, and nature in general. But I mean, people just it almost seems like they don't put any credence in it, or that it's always going to be there. Maybe they take it for granted as well. Have we gotten too technological with all this, Kiesha?
Absolutely. Our ancient ancestors are different indigenous tribes. Our indigenous tribes are the ones who still are plugged into nature, who know how to read the signs and listen to nature speak and give answers. But for the majority of us, we are on our phones, we're watching television. It's a crazy thing to get onto a train or to sit in an airport. Not one single person is talking to another stranger. They're all on their iPads. They're all on their cell phones. We don't know how to plug in back to the one thing that is giving us the very energy, the life that we have. And that is a sad thing to me, because nature is still speaking. It is still there, and it still is the one resource of energy that is running through every single one of our human bodies to give us this life. But we overlook it. We focus on things that are very much unimportant, and we do not take the time to realize that the oxygen in our lungs for every single breath is a pure gift from Mother Earth. Every drink we have ever swallowed since the day we were born into this day is a free gift from Mother Earth. Every meal we have ever eaten is a free gift from Mother Earth. The energy running through our bodies to make us walk and talk and move is a free gift from Mother Earth. We do not take the time to realize that Mother Earth is the one that is giving us this life. Our souls and our spirits come from something much greater. They've existed forever. They will continue to exist forever. And we can send our great I ams to different places to take different lessons. But right now, we all are living on planet Earth. Our souls are inside of our bodies, and these bodies are given to us 100% from this planet. Oxygen is not man-made. Our food is not man-made. Our water is not man-made. It is from this earth that we get this life. And this life is short, and we should be paying attention. We should be learning and growing and giving thanks to the one thing that is giving us this experience. And for me, it's a very personal, a very emotional thing to see human beings wandering this planet and not looking down. And what I mean by that is, how many of us are looking up? Looking towards the heavens. We look up when we talk about God. We look up when we want to talk to a deity. But what about the very living thing that is giving us our life, our sacred Mother Earth?
And talking about sacred Mother Earth, I mean, what is going on right now? Because the reason I ask that, Kiesha, is there is so much bizarre weather. And I mean, we were looking at a couple times. I mean, there was a huge system that basically stretched from, Texas, Oklahoma, all the way up to the northeast corner of the country. You have places like Iran and Thailand that have never even seen hail before, and now they're getting buried in it, and all sorts of weather. I mean, it's just phenomenal. What's going on? What is going on there? I mean, is this like a cleansing? Is this a rejection of what's going on by Mother Earth? What is that in your opinion?
Well, I think there's a lot going on. You know, it rained in the Arctic. We had that news just a few weeks ago as well. That's a bit frightening, actually. There's a lot going on between global warming, and I know there's a lot of naysayers out there saying that global warming is not man-made, but whether it's man-made or not, which I know to be true, it is man-made, our planet is shifting. It is changing. Global warming is having a huge effect on our planet, not to mention the magnetic poles are shifting. 10 years ago now, I've been little grandmother, and I started my first couple of years talking about preparing for a magnetic pole shift and what that would look like. And now we are right in the throes of it. It is moving. It's moving towards Russia faster and faster every single year. This is something that is not maybe it will happen. It is happening. But then we have global warming, and I think this is the main cause of most of it. Global warming is causing so many different things on our planet, from vast flooding, which is happening in America right now, to the forest fires that we used to have a forest fire season in California. Now it's all year long. We are having droughts in much of the world. You know, just the last few years, the whole world has been dealing with the migrants coming out of Syria, and that's a couple million, I think, at most. But we're getting ready to see about 6 million people starting to migrate out of their countries due to vast droughts, especially in Africa and the Middle East. Climate is changing, and it's changing very, very fastly. And so when we're starting to see the different effects of climate change on our planet now.
Yeah, things are getting really severe in that regard. And I mean, you hear all sorts of trains of thought on that. I mean, one train of thought will just be like, well, yeah, this is just like you were talking about it. It's a secular thing. You know, I mean, it's just something that Mother Nature goes through every, so ever how many years or whatever. And then you have the other side that say, well, no, we're doing this. And when you couple certain events in along with it, I mean, like Fukushima, and that sort of thing. I mean, my God, I mean, we're just destroying what was never meant to be destroyed, not used in this way.
Absolutely. Whether you want to say it is natural or man-made, it is here. And that is the point that needs to be very, very clear. So it is here, and we are seeing the effects. But we also know for a fact the pollution that we put in our air is causing global warming to get stronger and stronger. Now we are seeing the die-off of the vast coral reefs. You look at the Great Coral Reef in Australia, and it's 90% bleached. It is dying. It's several million years old, and now it is dying because the temperature of the ocean has risen 2 degrees. And in that 2 degrees, we as human beings don't think that's a big deal, but it's a massive problem for our oceans, for the species that live within the oceans. We can take so many examples, but right now we are seeing mass die-off of seal pups and several species. I can list so many simply because they are being poisoned. They are dying off on the beaches or animals washing up on the shore, and they're being poisoned by what is called red algae. Red algae grows very quickly as soon as the water turns warm. That red algae is toxic for animals, and so they are dying off. And that is because the water is warmer. Almost 40% of the methane emissions results from factory farming. Methane has a global warming potential of about 20 times higher than carbon dioxide. We cannot just put that in a corner and not pay attention to it. Whether global warming is happening because it is man-made or it's happening because it's a natural thing, we are facing it right now. And by putting methane into our air does not help anything. By the deforestation that's happening on our planet. In the United States alone, over 260 million acres of forest have been cleared to make room for crops, most of which are used exclusively to house or grow livestock feed. When we sit and eat our steak or our hamburger, we are not thinking about actually what we're doing to our planet. So no matter the cause, we need to be awake of what is helping harm the planet or helping sustain the planet. So we need to be very aware of what we can do to maintain a balance and not to help harm.
We were very, very interested in you talking to the listeners about the crystals and what you're doing with the crystals. We think it's very important.
I found that fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yes.
I think crystals actually is another pure, brilliant gift that Mother Earth has given us. Actually, she's not just sustaining our lives here, but she's also dangling the tool in front of us saying, this is what can save everything. If you'll just pay attention, I'll give you the tools. You just use them. And I think those tools are crystals, without a doubt. Crystals are amazing. When we look at our ancient ancestors or the indigenous cultures on our planet, we can see that, well, take, for example, the Sumerians. The Sumerians were the first people having a historical record of using crystals, and they called crystals their magic formulas, which is very interesting. They were using them to heal body and mind. Same with the Egyptians. They were using them for the same thing. If we look at different cultures like the Greeks word for crystals was actually a meaning for ice. They believed that quartz crystal was ice that was frozen so hard that it became solidified, and then you can use it. No matter what culture you look towards, whether it be the Chinese, the Maori, Native American, South American, Roman, Japanese, you can look at so many different cultures. They were all using crystals. And now we think today we're just discovering the use of crystals, but actually our ancient cultures were already using them, and I believe probably had more understanding than we do today. But we are starting to grasp their importance once again. And
That's
this
amazing.
That's so important. It's so important. How many of us, I know all the listeners have probably heard of the man Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist. Of course, he is the one, I believe, one of the greatest men of our time to be here, because he proved to the world, the scientific community as well, that the importance of water and crystals together. He proved to the world that every particle of water, whether it is in our air, as a minute little particle, whether it is in the ocean, the rivers, the streams, or a mud puddle, your orange juice, every particle of water on our planet, when looked through a microscope, you can find a liquid crystal. Mm-hmm. And why that is so important is because all crystal, every single crystal on this planet, whether it be liquid or solid, can hold an energy, make that energy stronger, and then push out that energy. And this itself is fascinating. Nikola Tesla proved to the world that everything in our universe is made of energy, has its own frequency, has its own vibration. And that same philosophy goes for crystals. Crystals can literally make their own energy. Very literally, if you were to get a voltmeter and put the negative and a positive wire to a piece of quartz crystal, you will get a voltage reading. Crystals make their own energy. Crystals not only make their own energy, but they can hold a vibration or a frequency of what we are feeling, what we are saying. They make stronger that energy, and then they push that energy out. And when we can understand that this is actually what crystals are doing, we understand that we have the tools of how to heal ourselves, protect ourselves, and heal our planet. And it's fascinating. There's so many different things we can do with crystals. Many people know what crystals are, of course, but they have no idea the use of crystals in our everyday life. Liquid crystals are LCDs, liquid crystal, our televisions, our computer screens, all use liquid crystals. Our watches, our radios, the largest man-made computers on our planet are all ran off of a small piece of quartz crystal. And that is because Crystal can hold as much information as you wish to give it, and it will never get full. No matter how small the crystal is or how big it is, no crystal can be filled with information. You can just keep putting more and more on there. And so if we know how brilliant crystals are and what all they can do, why are we not utilizing them to heal ourselves, to hold our prayers, to hold a higher vibration for ourselves? Why are we not wearing them around our necks? Why are we not using them to heal and clean our water? There are so many different things we can do with crystals.
Yeah, that's totally amazing. And as a matter of fact, we're sitting here looking at the table where we're set up.
We've got crystals everywhere.
Mystic Healing and Arts. And we've got rose quartz, we've got Lemurian crystal, we've got selenite, we've got
clear quartz, we've got tourmaline. We just
that's the thing. So many of us have crystals. Many people don't even know what to do with them, but they have crystals because they're beautiful and because we are all attracted to crystals in one way or another. Children are attracted to crystals. They are very literally beautiful pieces of Mother Earth that create their own energy. They vibrate. They can heal us. They have their own frequency, actually. Quartz has the ability to convert Earth's natural electrical vibrations into usable energy. So we're all drawn to them in one way or another. But the question is, how many of us have them in our house? Now, I always ask this question to whatever group of people I'm talking to.
Keisha?
Yes?
Keisha, I tell you what, can we pick up on the other side? We have to take a little 3-minute break here, and let's pick that up on the other side, all right?
Sure.
Great day. We are at Into the Mystic Healing and Arts, 720 14th Street, Golden, Colorado.
And we're loving Little Grandmother.
I'm telling you, we're going to be back with more from Little Grandmother on the other side. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was doing not good things, and I did not want to go to a medical doctor because I just knew they would give me a cover-up pill. I didn't want to get onto that sort of thing at all. When I learned it was garlic and cayenne, and cayenne is a healer. It is a wonderful herb. I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are EFR, your protection from deception.
Welcome back, Twin Flame Divine Fire on the road, broadcasting you today not from beautiful Thornton, Colorado,
but from Golden, Colorado.
We're today at the Into the Mystic Healing and Arts, 720 14th Street in Golden. And very simply, you get off on 58th, you take the Washington Street exit, head downtown, go to 14th Street, make a left-hand turn, and it's right there on the left. So
and this is the most amazing little town, too.
Yeah, it's picturesque. Mm-hmm. This place, Into the Mystic Healing and Arts, is picturesque. I mean, this is just cool. Wanted to let you know real quick, we're going to get back with our special guest today, our first hour guest, Little Grandmother, in just a moment. But I wanted to let you know about their online store that they have at Into the Mystic Healing and Arts. In case you can't get here, you might be, I don't know, in Holland or somewhere. I don't know. I mean, just pick a country, any country. They have an online metaphysical store with over 6,000 items, all right? They also have a storefront, so if you happen to be in the area, drop on by. A lot of the merchandise they carry here is really cool. One-of-a-kind, handmade stuff, local vendors, and they also have several amazing practitioners. I know we met a shaman the other time that we were in here, and a couple of other things as well. They have a wide variety of services that range from massage and acupuncture, Reiki, of course, psychic readings, and a lot more. And if you can't make it in, they do phone and Skype sessions as well. So go online to find out all the information you need about this wonderful little metaphysical store, Into the Mystic Healing and Arts. And online, that's Into the Mystic Healing and Arts.com. Very simple to remember. Even I can remember that, I think. So our guest today, Little Grandmother. We were talking about crystals when we left, and amazing things, Kiesha, these crystals, aren't they?
They sure are. And I think where we left off is, no matter where I go in the world, and I'm talking to large groups of people, I ask, how many of you have crystals in your house? And I can guarantee you 3/4 of people will raise their hand. Yeah. Everybody has crystals, but are they using them? And what I mean is crystals are, of course, these tools that can help us clear, heal our bodies. They can help heal Mother Earth. And so for the last 10 years as being Little Grandmother, I have been teaching people that they are not just decorative ornaments. We should be using them to help heal our bodies, our minds, and our spirits, and the water. Water is a big one because every particle of water on this planet does have a liquid crystal inside of it. And Dr. Emoto has taught us that, has proven to the world, that if you stand over a microscope with a little particle of water underneath that microscope and you say love, that crystal will change its shape to something brilliant and perfect. It looks a lot like a snowflake. Wonderful. Seconds later, if you say hate or ugly or sin, it will turn into a blob. It looks like a yellowish brown blob. And so we know the power of crystals, our solid crystals and our liquid crystals. And so we know that by our words, by our actions, by our feelings, and by our emotions, crystals can hold our intention, can hold our frequency, can hold our energy. And the most brilliant thing about crystals is that they speak to each other. And so when I say, how many of you have crystals at home, and all the hands go up, and then I say, how many of you are using the crystals, and 1 or 2 hands go up, I have to say, if you have crystals in your house, it is time to give them back to Mother Earth. I am not saying this because Mother Earth is selfish and she just wants them back. I am saying it because crystals are the key for us to heal and clean our water, and in turn heal and clean our food and ourselves. Every particle of water on this planet, no matter where you find it, has a liquid crystal inside of it. And so if you can take one of those crystals from your house that's on your shelf, just collecting dust, you hold it in your hands, and you feel all of the love that you have inside of yourself for this planet. And you think of the prayers that you wish to bless Mother Earth with. You ask for the things that you want. That crystal will hold those intentions. So when you hold a crystal in your hand, do not think of the filthy water. Do not think of radiation in our water. You think of the water as it is clean and pristine and healthy and full of animals. You hold that crystal in your hand and you give all that intention to that crystal. It will hold that information. And then I want you to take those crystals and take them to wild water, the streams, the rivers, the lakes, the ocean. Because the moment that crystal goes into that water, every other particle of water with a crystal inside of it will start to share that information. Your one crystal, with your prayer and your intention thrown into wild water, can spread much farther and much faster than you can almost comprehend. It happens very quickly, but your prayer can be shared to the particles of water in the water in which you place it. Having said, yes?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Having said that, we know that every particle of water has a crystal in it, and crystals can speak to each other. 72% of Mother Earth is covered in water. Most of us do not stop to think 72% of us, the human being, is water. So I want to ask you, you the listener, how often are your thoughts positive and good, or how many of those thoughts and feelings and emotions are negative? What are you instilling in your crystals? That is a big question for all of us to think about. If every particle of water holds a liquid crystal, which can hold your thoughts, your emotions, what are you thinking and saying about yourself? What are we thinking and saying about each other? We have to start to think that we are not separate from Mother Earth. We are part of Mother Earth. She is 72% water. You are 72% water. You are filled with billions, even trillions of crystals. Start instilling inside of yourself what you want your crystals to hold. And the crystals inside of your house, the solid crystals, start praying for them, hold them in your hands, give them your intentions, and put those back in Mother Earth's water to share your prayer, to share your energy and your frequency. The strongest energy always wins. This is true for the universe. The strongest energy always wins. Love is the strongest energy on planet Earth. It is the strongest energy in the universe. The strongest energy will always win, and this is something that we all need to believe in. Love is much more powerful than hate. Love is much more powerful than pollution. When you put your intentions, your love, and your vibration in a crystal and throw it into water, you will bless that water.
And that you had one instance or that was very interesting to us as far as the crystal and, of course, the Fukushima thing. I mean, that's still doing what it's been doing since it erupted, however many years ago.
Yeah.
And for those that may not be familiar, can you convey that story? Because I found that really fascinating.
Of course. It was one of the most powerful experiences for me as well. I've been following Dr. Emoto for some time. He's no longer with us, but how he taught the world the power of crystals. And I truly 100% believe in using crystals, a bit of Mother Earth, to help heal Mother Earth and ourselves. I asked people from all over the world after the Fukushima dyad destruction of the plant to all start to pray, hold their crystals for the healing of Mother Earth's water. of course, to delete radiation. And this is very key. I do not want anybody to hold a crystal and ask it to absorb radiation, because a crystal cannot hold or absorb the negative. You must ask it to delete radiation. So I asked the world, I put up a free YouTube video and asked everyone to start sending their crystals full of their prayers to Japan or to myself, and I would take them. By the time it was time for us to go to Japan, it was incredible how much luggage we were toting through the airport full of crystals. They thought we were crazy. By the time we got there, we went from each island, starting at Yonaguni, all the way up through the chain of islands, passing out crystals and teaching people how to use them. But I also took with me a very special crystal. It was gifted to me when I became little grandmother at age 30, an ancient healing crystal. And we met with a few indigenous people along the way, some grandmothers, who went with us to the very top of the mountain. The reason why we went to the top of the mountain is because we were not allowed actually into the Fukushima dyad plant. Of course, nobody's allowed in there. So we went to the source of the water that is running underneath. It goes down the mountain, underneath the dyad plant, Fukushima, and into the ocean. And that is what is carrying all of the 300 becquerel tons of radiation every single day, including today, straight into that ocean. And so we took a healing crystal up to the top of the mountain where the water began. And let me tell you, it was an exciting moment because there was still ice on the bank of the river. And I had to go all the way under and in and put that crystal underneath this great stone so that it can carry our blessings. At the same time, we had crystals from all over the world being sent in to Japan. And we had scientists working at the Fukushima dyad plant who gathered some of the water from one of the containment tanks. They hooked this to a computer to show how many becquerel tons, how polluted the water was. And one of these healing crystals were chosen out of one of the many that were sent. And this crystal was placed inside of the water. And on those computers, within 2 minutes, I fully expected the radiation to get lower in this beaker, in this water. But in 2 minutes, radiation was undetectable. And all that was done was placing a simple crystal filled with prayers to heal and clean the water. In 2 minutes, the radiation was undetectable. This is the power of crystals.
Wow. I am holding one in my hand as we're speaking today because we knew about that. We knew we were going to be on with you. And there's this beautiful little river that runs through Golden. Mm-hmm. And I have a funny feeling it has a home coming to it.
Perfect.
Oh, yes.
It's astonishing what crystals can do.
That is amazing, though, yeah, because we were kind of familiar with Dr. Emoto's work, and that really set us back. We're like, whoa, really? When we first learned about it. That's been a little while ago, but I mean, it's still amazing. But the thing that gets me is that, you tell people that aren't into this sort of thing about it, and they just look at you like you're crazy, because they're just like, well, if it doesn't involve multi-billion-dollar machines and, MIT graduates and all this other stuff, then that can't possibly happen. But they just have to get out of their own mind.
Of course, the Egyptians knew how to make free energy for the world using quartz crystals. Nikola Tesla proved it again in 1899. The whole world could have free energy using crystals. Crystals are amazing. Our indigenous elders, our indigenous ancestors, the indigenous people today all know how to use crystals. They tell us that the water is alive. It is alive. They tell us crystals, Mother Earth is alive. She is alive. This is no mystery. It is a simple fact that we need to stop thinking that just indigenous people can do that. Crystals are alive. They are creating their own energy. They can absorb your emotions, and then they can push out that energy. We need to all be paying attention. The most simple things are the most truthful things. We don't have to be an MIT tech. They're all around us. We just need to grow our relationship to Mother Earth strong once again. We need to stop thinking, the books that are full of scientific mumbo jumbo. You don't have to be a scientist. You have to have a good heart and a willingness to help heal the planet, and you will.
Yeah, I think we have enough scientists on the planet right now. Yeah, we need the other. I agree with you. We need to go the other way.
Well,
Absolutely.
we also had a question in the chat room about
the red algae versus the red tide.
Yes.
Those are one and the same. So when I'm speaking about the red tide is red algae. That's exactly what it is.
And for those of you from Alabama, we're not talking about the Crimson Tide. Leave college sports out of this. Okay. I just wanted to clear that up, right? Okay, yeah.
Two different things. Red algae is a natural process, and it's been on the planet forever. But now that the water is 2 degrees warmer, the red algae, or the red tide, is getting bigger and bigger. The blooms are massive, spanning even hundreds of miles. And so this red algae that floats at the surface of the water, the animals that are surface dwelling, crabs, seal pups, seals, penguins, many different species, the algae is actually poisonous for them. And it is poisoning them, and we're losing entire colonies of animals due to this. And it is because of the 2 degrees rise. Again, as human beings, we don't think 2 degrees is a big deal, but it is a massive problem for our ocean wildlife. Take, for example, jellyfish. And this is something that people don't even think about. But a jellyfish knows when to spawn or when to have its babies during the high summer months when the water changes 2 degrees warmer. And this is when they spawn. Now that ocean is 2 degrees warmer all year long. A jellyfish can spawn 1 million babies at a time. A couple weeks later, they have babies. A couple weeks later, those babies have babies, and it just continues and it continues and it continues. In the Sea of Japan, I know, in southern Sea of China, I believe, all they're pulling up is jellyfish. And so for the first few months, what the fishermen were doing was just cutting up the jellyfish, trying to kill them, and putting them overboard. But a jellyfish is just like an earthworm. If you cut it into 4 pieces, you have 4 jellyfish. And so they were just causing more damage. But this is true. This is happening in a lot of oceans around the world today. But it's not just happening in the ocean. It's happening if we look in the Arctic. This 2 degrees warmer on our planet is causing massive problems. Certain insects cannot survive in the Arctic, but now that it is 2 degrees warmer, they can. We're having massive die-off of reindeer, different species of moose. There's many, many species that are being affected by this 2 degrees. And we will continue to see it get larger and larger.
That just boggles the mind. So, Kiesha, what do we do? I mean, you know, we see all this negativity stuff going on around us, not even getting into any of the geopolitical garbage that's going on, but just the earth changes. What do we do?
That is a big, big question, and one that I get no matter where I go. The first thing that I want to speak about, or the first answer that comes to mind, and it's going to sound funny, but plant a potato. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but let me tell you where I get it. I was with the chief of the Khoisan people in Africa just last year, and I was asking him, what is the most important thing that you would like to tell the people or for me to spread? And he said, plant a potato. And I think I had the same weird look on my face as you just did when I say plant a potato.
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah. So he said, if a man sits in his hut with his wife and children, and they have nothing to eat but 1 potato, do they get angry at the world because they only have 1 potato? Or should they just pray to God that they need more potatoes and expect food to show up at their door? Should they be angry at the neighbor or expect the neighbor to go to work and get more food and then bring it to them? What should the man do? And then I understood. He should go and plant his potato so that there are more potato crops so that he could feed his family. And I've always taken this with me. It's always been in my heart since he said it. It's time for us to plant the potato. We can sit at home and we can be upset that the bees are dying off and there's no bees and swat the first one that comes next to us. Or we can leave it be. We can leave the wildflowers. We can leave stuff out so that the bees can eat. We can complain that mass cattle farming is producing way too much methane, is harming our waters, our streams. It is poisoning everything that is good around them. Or we can go to the store and buy a mass-produced steak. It is up to us. We cannot sit at home and complain about the world as it is and do nothing about it. You can do what you can do. Too many of us do not think that we can do anything because the problem is too big. Mm-hmm. But it's not too big. If every single one of us do something, we will change something. You can make a choice to buy that bottle of water, or you can take your glass and you can fill it up under your sink's tap. You can have a reusable water bottle. But when we look at certain things that we are doing in our everyday lives that are dramatically harming our planet, buying that cheap cut of meat because it was mass-produced, that is harming our planet. We can go buy a bottle of water, and that plastic bottle is harming our planet. It is outrageous when you start to learn about bottled water. One, do you know where 98% of the water comes from that's in our bottled water with that fancy label of a jungle or a mountaintop? It is coming from your tap.
Yeah.
It's coming from the tap. Absolutely it is.
Wow.
It is. And,
that's like that joke about Evian spelled backwards is naive.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'd heard that too, but I wasn't sure.
The National Institute of Health states that the minimum of 5.25 trillion floating plastic particles weighing over 200,000 tons are in the ocean today. It is incredible how much plastic is in our oceans simply because of plastic bottles. It can if you think about plastic bottles and bottled water around our planet, what are the two groups of people that drink the bottled water the most? It is the Americans and the Europeans. Both are the two with clean water to drink straight out of their tap. We do not need to be drinking bottled water. Most of the plastic in our ocean is from plastic bottles and plastic sacks. Give me one reason why anybody needs a plastic sack.
Just to put more plastic sacks in, from what I've seen.
There is no reason for anybody to use a plastic sack ever.
Yeah.
Or for an American or for a European to drink water out of a plastic bottle. There is no reason for it, and yet these are the two main causes of the plastic being in our ocean.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, I used to work for a recycling company, a cardboard recycling company. And they started taking plastic on, and they would cube it just like they would the cardboard. Cardboard, they can change it into a paste and reuse it. They cannot get rid of the plastic.
Once plastic is created, it will never leave this planet. Plain and simple. It will be here forever. If you burn plastic, that is the most horrific chemicals going into our atmosphere. If you recycle plastic and more chemicals have to be used to melt it down. So you're actually creating more of a problem. Or it goes into a landfill, or it goes into our oceans. There is no reason to use a plastic bottle of water in America or Europe. I can understand the rest of the people around our planet who do not have clean drinking water needing bottled water, but we do not. So when we look at the planet around us, instead of thinking the problem is too big, I can do nothing, ask yourself, what can I do? What can you do? You can plant a potato. You can take responsibility for yourself. You can start eating consciously, drinking your water consciously. You can take those crystals full of dust off of your shelf, set your intentions and your prayers inside of them, and put them in Mother Earth's water. You can start being open to nature. Stop talking. Listen to Mother Earth. If you go for a walk outside, do not speak to your friend. Do not listen to the radio. Don't listen to your music. Listen to nature. How many of us are doing this? How many of us literally go outside and listen and become aware of this planet that you live on. I promise you, if you do not love something, you will not protect something. Fall in love with Mother Earth again. Fall in love with nature again. Fall in love with your life. And then you will protect Mother Earth. She is the one giving you your oxygen, your food, your water, this very body that you have to live in, to live this life. Love her, and you will protect her. That is the greatest message I could give.
There you go. That says it all pretty much. We can all do our part.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Hey, Kiesha, do you have anything coming up that you'd like to let our audience know about?
Well, I think the biggest thing I have is my second brand new book is just about ready to hit the shelves. It's going to be finished within the next couple of weeks. If you go to littlegrandmother.net or Earth Mother Publishing, both the first book, Message for the Tribe of Many Colors, and my brand new second book is ready to go. It is called Earth, Water, Fire, and Wind, Our Connection to the Mother Earth. It will be available very, very soon. I'm super excited about it.
Excellent. Very good.
Yes.
All right. I love it. And, of course, you can get contacted at beautyawakens@gmail.com.
Of course, anybody can email us there, as well as Little Grandmother Kiesha on Facebook or littlegrandmother.net.
Excellent. Kiesha, thank you so much for being on the show. We were thrilled and honored to have you, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day over there in that beautiful country of yours.
Absolutely my pleasure. It's wonderful to be here in Holland, but boy, do I miss Colorado. So I send you a big kiss for you to send to those mountains.
Well, we will do that when we get out of Into the Mystic Healing and Arts today and head home. We'll do that for you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.